Before I retired for the night, I wanted to discuss with you briefly the importance of how valuable your gift is. Now, once you've established a spiritual connection with your Creator and you want to use your gift or you want to identify what your gift is, it's not anything to play around with. And there are some people who are gifted, know they're gifted, and don't use their gifts. Let me tell you how important it is. Let me tell you how strong your gift is. I'm going to give you two scenarios, and I'm sure that you can relate. The first case in which your gift is so strong is that when you see somebody that's in an adverse situation, still be able to exercise their gifts and impact people. Cases in point, people who wound up in prison, incarcerated, be suffering health problems, could be in prison, not able to move, not able to be free, but can still write, can still perform music, can still teach, can still learn. They can still exercise their spiritual gift even though they are incarcerated. And for those of you who don't believe it, read scripture. And it could be any kind of scripture. It could be the Bible, it could be the Torah, it could be the Quran, where they talk about different prophets and different ministers of the faith who were in adverse conditions and they still practiced their gifts. That's how strong and valuable your gift is. That's one instance. And in another instance, this is of a sensitive nature, and some of you might learn from it, is when somebody is in a mind-altered state. And when I mean a mind-altered state, they could be suffering from mental illness. They could be suffering from a physical disease that affects the mind. Or they could be under the influence of some kind of substance like drugs or alcohol. And they're still able to utilize their gifts. They're functional. They're functional in their incapacity. You've heard the phrase about functional addicts. I used to be one. Did it so long, people didn't even realize what was going on with me. They had suspicions, but they had no idea because I was still able to function and exercise the few gifts that I did have. Of course, I wasn't well aware of the one that I'm using now, but I did have my other talents. I was functional. I got by. I didn't do as well as I should have been doing because I was mentally incapacitated. But I was able to function. And because I was able to function, there wasn't a whole lot that was said to me with the exception that, okay, I had occasional mood swings and things like that. But then it was a matter of time before things got out of control. And this is what happens with a lot of people who are functional addicts. They'll be able to exercise their gifts for a while. But as they get deeper and deeper into their condition, it takes over that part of the brain that allows them to exercise their gifts, and they start to get a little sloppy. They start to make mistakes. They start not to be able to perform at the level that people expect them to. It's going to take some time, but it does. And I say this to say this. When you realize that you have a gift that was given to you divinely, to ignore it or to let someone else talk you out of it because they might be jealous or a fear of missing out or afraid of being lost or whatever the case may be, excuse me. What you need to understand is that is your gift and it belongs to you. Y-O-U. When it comes to spiritual gifts, there is no like this person. Because everybody's gift is unique. You might have similar gifts, but the way you exercise your gifts is going to be totally different. There's going to be that one thing that's a little bit more different than the way the other person does it. So don't put so much emphasis on somebody being like something or somebody being able to do a certain thing at a certain level when you don't know what that gift entails. There's a gospel song out called What God Has For Me Is one of my favorite gospel songs because she's preaching. She's letting the world know it has nothing to do with bloodline. It has nothing to do with location. It has nothing to do with material possessions. When that gift is given to you at that divine place and time, for you to exercise it, it was designed for you, only you, at that particular place, at that particular time, and it was given to you at that particular place and time for you to start using from that point on. That gift is so strong, it will survive incarceration, it will survive the death of others, it will survive mental illness, it will survive substance abuse. This is how strong your gift is. And for you to not know how important it is a disservice. For you to ignore it or disregard it or put it on the back burner because some random person, and I'm including family on this, because some random person who obviously sees the importance of your gift and wishes that they had it is going to try to distract you from using your gift. But you don't have sense enough to see that. You're so wrapped up in their bullshit and their garbage, you actually don't realize what they're doing. They see more potential in what you're doing because they know for a fact that you're doing something that they can't do because they don't have it inside of them to do what you're doing. But they'll never tell you that. What they'll do instead is try to throw all these roadblocks and all these mind games and everything at you to make you think that your gift is not a gift at all, so you can give it up. And then once you do that, see, they one-up you. They win. These people are either one or two things: jealous of you or afraid of missing out, afraid that you're going to leave them behind. And in either case, this is evil. Their presence and their opinion in regards to your gift is nothing compared to the gift itself. The scales aren't even balanced. They don't even weigh as much as your gift. They don't equate. If you only realize how valuable it is. How many times have you heard stories about political prisoners that are incarcerated and were able to produce books, were able to speak inspirational speeches and teach, all within the confines of horrific prison conditions? That's how strong that gift is. People in the past and the present who are gifted writers and musicians, but they were functional addicts. I am in no way, let me tell you this now, I am in no way condoning that the best way for you to accentuate your gift is to become an addict, because there are some people who feel they should do that. And for people who feel that that's the only way to exercise your gift and they can't exercise it while they're sober, then you need to go ahead and see somebody, because there's another reason deep down as the reason why you want to put poison inside of you. I'm speaking from experience. There are a lot of people that will sit here and they will say, oh man, the real reason why that I perform so well at everything is because I take this substance. You were able to perform well before you took the substance. You just didn't realize how important it was until you started taking the substance. You had that gift before that. But because your mind is in an altered state, you actually attribute all of your success to that little chemical that you're putting in your body that is not natural and not designed to help your body function the way it should function. It's poison. But you don't see that. And even while you're doing that, up to a certain extent, you're still able to exercise your gift. This is how strong and how powerful your gift is. It's even surpassing addiction to a point. Because you're going to get to a point where you can't exercise your gift anymore, because as you consume the poison, it gradually takes over certain parts of your brain, and that includes the parts of your brain that exercises your gift. It's a matter of time before you lose it. But I just say this to say this, people. Do not underestimate the importance and the value of the gift of that the divine has given you. And don't take any prisoners. Do you know how many opportunities that people are thrown away in this world thinking that it's not a big deal, when in actuality one of those opportunities could have been the only opportunity that they had to exercise their divine gift, but because they lacked a spiritual connection and understanding, they threw it away. Shit's happening every single day, people. Don't be the next one. Don't let it happen to you. And for goodness sake, once you start exercising your gift, don't let anybody talk you out of that gift. Because the only reason, like I said, is one or two reasons why they're doing that. Number one, they're jealous of you. And number two, they're afraid you're going to leave them behind as you grow. Either way, it's not good. And if you call yourself setting your dreams aside or setting aside your gifts so you can do something for someone else and you think it's a sacrifice, guess what? They're going to turn around and get what they can get out of you. And when it's time for you to go pick up your gift, if it's still around, you're either going to not be able to use it, or that person that you helped, they're going to stab you in the back and they're going to tell you that you're a dummy for giving up what you gave up to help them. They'll turn on you. There's levels to this shit, people. So I just say that to say this. Don't underestimate the power of a divine gift. If you know deep down in your heart it's a divine gift, exercise it. And if you want to avoid the opinions of other people, the best thing for you to do is to go ahead and start making moves in stealth mode and don't say shit to nobody. Because if you don't want to worry about anybody's opinion of certain things in your life that you know that they're going to have an opinion about that goes against the grain, the best thing for you to do is not to tell them nothing in the first place. Then that way you won't have to worry about opinions. Keep your mouth closed and just produce. And by the time they look up, you've already done whatever you needed to do, and the product, the fruits are already on the tree. See, some people already know that you got a tree that's going to bear some good fruit. And when you go to running your mouth about how you planted the seeds and how you used the Miracle Grow and how you watered it 3 times a week, and you went into all the details as you go along, giving this progress report to the wrong people, at a certain period of time, they're going to keep going in your mind and going in your ear and telling you how this is wrong and you shouldn't do this and how you should do it at that time, or you need to wait for me to do this, that, and the other. And see, over a period of time, what's going to happen is that window of opportunity that you had to exercise your divine gift is going to close, because you're busy listening to people who deep down are either low-key jealous of your situation or they're afraid they're not going to be a part of the bounty. So the best thing for you to do is to avoid that. And some of y'all know who these people are. Start working on your gift right away. You ain't got to tell nobody what the hell you're doing, all the steps along the way. What are you giving a progress report for? So you can seek the attention and the admiration of other people? You don't need their approval. If you keep your mouth shut and you produce in peace, when the product comes out, it's too late for anybody to criticize you doing it, because you're already doing it. It's too late. They might say a little something about the product, so what? But at least you produced something. You're there. So keep that in mind. The value of your gift is bigger than what you think it is. Don't throw it away. Peace, power, protection, and prosperity to you. Good night.